Welcome back. My name is Nikolai, and this is Transguy Reacts, and I react to women's basketball, college and professional. Today, I want to react to the women's basketball transfer portal. Um, this is as of March 20th, 2024. Of course, there's going to be a lot more movement going on, but I'm really excited to just talk a little bit about like some of the things that I've seen. I found this website called thenexthoops.com. It has a tracker on here. This says January 24th, but it is updated, as you can see, as March 20th. So this is the most up-to-date list. I highly recommend this. It has pretty much every person and some links to them if you want to know more information about why, who they are and the movement that's happening. I like there's a couple of people in this list that I want to point out, and I'd like to just talk a little bit more about their transferring and my thoughts around that. So let's start with Arkansas. Arkansas. So I always call it Arkansas because it's spelled Arkansas, but Arkansas has the head coach, Mike Neighbors. He's been at Arkansas for like 7 years. This is his alma mater. He's born and raised in Arkansas, so it makes sense that he would go there. Before this, he was at Washington for about 4 years, and he had a really good tenure there as well. But his two star players have decided to leave, Sailor Poffenberger and Talia Scott. So I'm not shocked because, to be honest, his tenure at Arkansas hasn't been as good as his tenure at Washington. Just slightly less successful, and this last couple seasons have not been good. And I'm not surprised that these two players are deciding to leave. Going for greener pastures and hopefully more minutes, more exposure. You don't, if you are thinking about your future and wanting to maybe even go into the WNBA, you got to be with teams that are winning. So to get noticed, or you have to be doing outlandish things to get noticed by scouts. So outlandish, I mean like crazy good play. So I'm not surprised that that's what's happening, and yeah, those players have left. Now let's look at Georgia. Georgia had a new coach too. I forgot to look up her name, but she was new. I think this is her first year here because the coach at Georgia went to Texas A&M. So yeah, this is a totally new team, and they are definitely struggling this year. I saw a couple games. There's a lot of fight in this team, and she seems like a good coach, but she's losing two players, Stephanie Ingram, which is I've heard her name a lot, and Zoisha Smith. Pretty much her star players. So unfortunate, but shit happens, and people want to move on when you're not winning. Next team that I want to talk about is University of Kentucky. Kentucky just let go their coach, Kyra Elzy, which I was kind of surprised about. She was there for about, I think, 4 years, and in her first or second year, they went to the SEC final and won it. Like I think they beat South Carolina. They're a really good team. I know she had some controversy because like one of her players, she like suspended or something like that, and then she ended up transferring to Baylor, and she's doing a lot better at Baylor. I'm sure it's just a clash of personalities, but since Kyra has been let go, 6 players have left or are entering the transfer portal from Kentucky, and that's Janae Walker, who's a freshman, Zania Thomas, a sophomore, Naya Leveretter, excuse me, she's a senior, in Naya Russell, who's a senior, Maddie Skur, senior, and Asia Petty, who's a senior. So obviously, when your coach gets let go, you're not gonna stay at that school. Not with the ability to transfer. The transfer portal is so much more open now, and there's not any restrictions. So not surprised that all those players are leaving. Probably more will leave. I'm assuming. I'm assuming the entire team is gonna need a rebuild. Super curious who they're gonna pull for that. I have no clue who would be a good fit. I can't even think of anyone. Maybe like no. I'm like like who would want this job? Um, I don't know. I can't think of anybody. So that is Kentucky. Then one of the more controversial people is from LSU, Kateri Poole. Kateri left the team earlier this year, and there was no specifics about why she left the team. But I'm assuming she stayed at she's a senior, so she stayed at school, but she is entering the transfer portal. She probably has 1 or 2 more years of eligibility. I don't know the reasons. I can only speculate, and I would speculate that she's a very good player. She's very consistent, but she's not amazing. She's not an amazing player, and that team has a lot of amazing people on the team who could easily replace her. And I'm sure that the coaches probably had a talk with her and let her know that her minutes would be less and that she wouldn't be as much of a factor in the in the day-to-day games, and that was probably very ego crushing considering her contributions last year. But things change, and she's off to greener pastures. I think I heard some people saying, oh, is this like prejudice related, because Kateri is obviously queer, and I can't say for sure because Moki is known for not being very supportive of her queer players. Like, she will tolerate them, but she's not the most like outwardly supportive of them. And her teams typically lean kind of straight. Like, to be honest, like people who are attracted to that typically are heterosexuals, because it's a very, she's coming from a very southern background, kind of religious, and her past behavior with Brittany Griner was not good, was not like positive, and her statements in general, she's very, Kim's problematic. But anywho, I'm not surprised that Kateri left, and I wish her well. Keep going. You got Mississippi State, Nyayanga Goni. She's a junior. She doesn't play a lot, so that's probably why she's leaving. There's a lot other good players at Mississippi State, so I mean, I can understand you're like, man, I'm not getting any minutes. So like, the whole point of me playing is in college is to play, right? Even if you don't have pro aspirations. So I get it. Missouri, Mamba Dembele is leaving, which I'm kind of surprised about, but maybe she just wants a bigger platform. Maybe she wants to join the SEC or something like that, because she's at Missouri, and what is that? The Big Ten, maybe Big 12, Big 10 probably, and it's got some traction obviously because Caitlin Clark brought a lot of attention to it, but I can see maybe she just wants to do something different. In Columbia, you got Mary Laban, who's a senior who doesn't get very many minutes, so that probably is why she's leaving. And Nicole Stevens, also a senior, is leaving Columbia, which is kind of interesting. They are in. Did they lose? They might have lost. They were in the first four, and I think they lost. They lost. Who did they lose to? That was yesterday. Damn, I don't even remember. Okay, there's too many games, but I think they lost. So, to Vanderbilt. Yeah, they lost to Vanderbilt. So, but this came out like before that, so I don't know. And then Princeton is another team that I want to point out, because Princeton's also in the NCAA tournament, and they are a very good team. So I'm kind of surprised by some of these people who are leaving. Chitana Nweke, both, and Caitlin Chen, both seniors. They're both getting in the transfer portal. Although, you know what? I think I know why. Actually, I take all of this back. Columbia and Princeton makes sense, because I'm pretty sure the Ivy League does not allow you to go into grad school and retain your eligibility. You have to transfer. They don't allow grad school scholarships or whatever, or athletes, something like that, to that degree. So that's probably why they're leaving. So yeah, that has nothing to do with probably their coaches. They're probably very happy with their coaches. They just are forced to leave, which is unfortunate, but that's the Ivy League. That's their rules, and that's what they do. But yeah, that is kind of the breakdown of what's going on with the transfers. Like I said, there is a lot going on. This is, you look at this list here. This is every single, like pretty much every tournament, and the list is long. It goes and goes and goes and goes and goes. Now that people don't have to wait a year, wait out a whole year to play and have that stupid, you know, it was like a penalty against players who wanted to leave their school in the past. They had to like sit out a whole damn year, which is ridiculous. But now that's, that was, there was a lawsuit against that, against the NCAA, and how discriminatory that was, and how detrimental it could be to a player's career. And so that was overturned, and now players can just leave whenever they want, at the end of a school year, I believe, and you just go to a new school. So I'm pretty happy that that changed, and it gives a lot more freedom to people and students. I mean, shoot, a lot, it's their time, it's their bodies. They should be able to go and play wherever they want. And some things, just don't work out with a coach. Sometimes you think you're gonna vibe with a coach and you don't. Or maybe your coach gets fired, or wants to leave and go to a new school, and it's like you shouldn't be penalized because you decided to come to the school and then a coaching decision changed, and then now you're in a completely different kind of uh, not even environment, just like culture. That can be really shocking and not good for people's mental health and all kinds of stuff. So I'm not surprised, and I totally support it. I just want to go through this. I'm like running through it really quick, but I just want to show it so people can see how many people are on this damn list. It's a lot. It's a lot, yo. Going and going. Jesus. Oh no, WDCC, WAC, the Independent. All right, damn. All right, so that is it. That is the transfer portal for the women's basketball college situation. Very interesting. I'm sure there will be more. And if there are more significant ones, I'll be sure to do another video on this. But otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.